The meeting tonight is for the conduct of town business by the town board. The public is invited to participate at the items marked on the agenda public comment. During that segment of the meeting, if you have a question or comment for the supervisor, please raise your hand and wait to be acknowledged. Please state your full name and limit your remarks to 3 minutes. Thank you for your anticipated cooperation.
Thank you. So tonight's the workshop meeting, May 22nd, 2020 of 7 p.m. And let's rise for the pledge, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And a moment of silence, please, for all the men and women who sacrificed their lives for us to serve our country, our state, and our town. Thank you. All right. Okay. So I need a motion to approve the agenda.
I make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. A motion to approve the minutes from the May 8th, 2023 Town Board meeting.
I'll make a motion.
You don't got to compete with Manny.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ed.
I'll second it.
But true to form, I have no
Oh, come on. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You don't need a mic.
Nope, I'm going to start shouting at you all.
Authorize the payment of bills of $156,667.21. I need a motion to pay the bills.
I make a motion to pay the bills.
I'll second the motion.
Do you want this thing here?
You give her that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I think it's this input. I think this input has to be the problem. It can't be the same microphone.
You get the luck of the draw. Okay, supervisors updates. As everybody on the board is aware, make the public aware that Tomback, as you see, has not moved in a few weeks. That's because we are not in communication with the general construction contractor on the job. And I did send letters of notice to the bonding agency to pull in their bonds. So this is a first for us, first for me, first for the town of Marlborough. So we're going through the process. Our attorneys are involved, labor department's involved, engineers involved. But the good news is we do have bonds in place, performance and payment bonds, and we'll go through the process. It'll take a little longer than we want, but at the end of the day, the community center will be completed. It's just going to delay the process. The HVAC and the plumbing and the electric at this time is moving forward. So it's just the general construction at this point. That's why you don't see windows and siding and stuff like that. So we will be moving on that. An update on Old Indian Trail. Still in the process of determining how this is going to be fixed. We've been in contact with our engineer, Pat Hines, and their team is reaching out for some guidance from geological experts to see what it would cost to get some holes dug up there to see where we'd have to do to actually stabilize the hill possibly. We're also understanding, and Cindy Hilbert, our assessor, is working with us and our attorney to see who has ownership of what has to be done, because the town only has ownership of the road, and the landowners have ownership of the property on the east and the west side of the road. So, and CSX is also involved. So that road is still closed, but I have had a meeting with Central Hudson, and we're looking to replacing some poles that are leaning over, and we're looking to put lighting so on the south exit and entrance they'll actually have some lighting to see as they go up that, in my eyes, dangerous road. But besides that, I think we had successful events over the weekends with Meet Me in Marlborough and the car shows and different things that were going on. So that was successful. We had celebrated 200 years, right, of the Kent's farm at Locust Grove this past weekend. So that's a huge accomplishment. I'm going to ask the board, probably next meeting, we're going to have the Kents here, if they could come next meeting, and we'll do a Pride of Marlborough Accommodation Award for them. We didn't do it at there, we wanted to do it at the meeting. So I'm going to try to get that scheduled for next meeting, so we'll have that then. So basically, that's my report for this week, and I don't have any presentations. Anybody have any comments on the agenda? It seems like we're all in the family in the room today, so I didn't think so. Comments on the agenda. So new business. Anybody on the board got any new business that they want to bring up? Want us to look into? No? Okay. I will talk, I mean, I know people have been asking online about the accident on 9W on the 16th. I just want everybody to know that there was a study done, started in 2016. It was completed in 2018, and that was done in conjunction with Ulster County Transportation, Department of Transportation, the Marlborough and the Lloyd representation, which included supervisors, council people, and highway superintendents. A lot of recommendations were put into that report, and a lot of the things that were put in there, DOT did not do. The town board at the time requested that Supervisor Lanzetta write a letter to the DOT, which he did, because one of the recommendations in there was to reduce the speed from 55 to 45, and they, obviously you see, it's 2023 and it still says 55. So I have contacted DOT again. I talked to two different people. The first one was Lisa Mondello, and then I talked to her assistant today, Danielle Rispoli, and they will, I think you guys were on, a couple of you guys were on copy to an email I sent out that we were going to be having a meeting hopefully next week. She understands what's going on. She was very receptive to what I was telling her, and she said she will come over and she will assess the road and see what we can do to at least reduce the speed and between Milton Turnpike and what is that, Perkinsville Road, as you exit the town, to 45 or 40 miles an hour, which it should be. If you notice, as you get into the hamlet of Marlborough, around CTSS Tire, it reduces down to 40. Through the hamlet, it goes to 30, and it doesn't go back to 55 until you pass CVS, right? 2 lanes. 2 lanes. And then as you come through Marlborough here, through Milton Hamlet, it stays 55. So for some reason, why is the hamlet of Marlborough reduced, but the hamlet of Milton is not? So that was what I told her, and she kind of understood it, and it seems like maybe we could get somewhere with that. So we'll have a meeting. You know, the accident happened at 5:39. The police were on the scene at 5:42. So quick response. The ambulance was there right afterwards. It took them a while to get the individual out of the car because it was such a horrific accident. And I think Gail Jr. was on the scene, my deputy, and Jerry and the guys. I don't think anybody anticipated the end result would happen. Did happen because she was responsive, she was talking, and you know, unfortunately at the hospital things changed. But you know, we are taking this seriously, and we do look into these things, and I want people to understand there have been many studies done on 9W corridor, and we'll continue to push DOT to do what they said they were going to do. So the other part was they also put in there a 6-foot on the edge of the road. Every edge of the road should be 6 feet. So if there was an opportunity to go around, that they can go around, and that has not been done either. And they did repave the whole road right at the time the document was printed, so it kind of doesn't make any sense. But we'll follow up. They were very receptive, so that was good. Okay? That's what I have for new business. Workshop topics, just an open board discussion. Again, if you guys have any other thing you want to talk about, or it's going to be a quick meeting, and we'll go to correspondence and then public comment and then our resolutions. Nothing? Anything else? Okay. So the correspondence, just got a couple. And one's not from Jerry. I can't believe it. So this one is from the Duchess Debs. My name is Bob Tempest-Still, coach of the Duchess Debs girls softball team. First off, I would like to thank you for allowing the girls to use and enjoy your fields for the past 2 years. Writing the request permission to use the field June and July on Wednesdays from 6 to 8 if the field are not available. Tuesdays or Thursdays, 6 to 8 would work. I don't know if you've checked into that, Danielle, yet?
I did. I emailed back and forth with Nick Giansanti, and he said that the Wednesdays would work, and the Sundays will work as well. And he just questioned which field they were using, and they plan to use the first field,
All right. Because the board already has approved Marlborough Youth Baseball to use the field, so they get
Right.
first shot at it.
Yes.
So Wednesdays would work, and then of course, he was asking for Sundays in September through November from 10 to noon. So basically, they're asking us if they could use the fields, and, you know, of course, they will upkeep the fields and maintain them as best they can, and they just want to have our permission to do so. So I would need a motion to allow the Duchess Debs to use the fields on Wednesdays, 6 to 8 in June and July, and Sundays, 10 to noon in September through November.
I have a question.
Yes.
Certainly in favor of the fields getting some more use, but as we are continuing to put significant investment into those fields, have we considered implementing some type of rental fee for out-of-town organizations to use them?
Well, there's definitely, yes, absolutely. I mean, this is, yeah, these aren't, I mean, some people on there are from Marlborough, people that play on there, but they're not an organization from Marlborough. So the only reason we allowed them to use it is because they say they were going to upkeep the fields. I know the first couple
Which
of
is
years they
helpful.
were doing. So yeah, no, I mean, if you guys want to make a recommendation that we make something up, Danielle's got a great spreadsheet that she's working on that I had on my desk for about 2 weeks. I'm supposed to look
Take your
over
time.
for rentals. So we're trying to create a one-stop shopping rental for everything. So if you have some suggestions, let us do it. But I agree with you.
Yeah, I don't know how many of the players are Marlborough
Yeah,
families, so that might make a difference, but
okay.
I think we should look into it.
The suggestion is maybe we do a blanket security deposit for the seasonal use, and that deposit refunded based on the hours logged in terms of maintenance. This way it's
I like
fair
that
for
idea.
either out of town or in. If they spend the time, you come up with some sort of schedule, like the yacht club does their rentals, or
Yeah,
membership.
it's a good idea,
Similar to
Jerry.
that. This way there's no standard fee for in-town versus out-of-town. But if they don't want to put the man hours in for the maintenance, then they pay.
Well, yeah, you're right,
And that
Jerry.
goes for inside and outside.
That's a good suggestion. I like that suggestion.
What was the starting date on the request?
I think June
June,
and July on Wednesdays, 6 to 8. I think they just use it for practice.
But then there was other
And
dates
then
in the
they
fall.
have September through November, Sundays, 10 to noon.
So could we perhaps approve the June and July dates since they're more imminent under the current,
Yeah.
complementary structure, and then just defer the fall dates till our next meeting so we can have a conversation about that?
Make that motion that way.
Okay.
We'll do it that way.
I would like to make a motion that we approve the June and July dates for the Duchess Debs as requested and revisit the fall dates at our next meeting.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
So Danielle, when you get back to them again, though, tell them that, the Sundays are going to be contingent on, we're looking at a out-of-town policy, and that something similar to what Jerry just was talking about, that we might request a deposit, and then we're going to request that certain field work is completed every day that they're using the field, and then we'll monitor it and make sure that it is getting done, and then they would get their deposit back if
At the end of that.
the park superintendent signs
good.
off on it, and Councilwoman Sessa
I will let
signs
him know.
off on it. We're going to put her in charge of it. No. No, but yeah, it's something like that. You know what I'm saying. So I think that's an excellent suggestion. So, because sometimes they tell you they're going to do stuff, and then they do it. They did do it in the beginning, and then they kind of
Slacked off.
This one's from the Marlborough Milton Lions Club. Supervisor Corcoran, the Marlborough Milton Lions Club would like to request the use of the Milton train station to have our monthly dinner meeting. On June 7th, 2023, we'd like to request a waiver of the fees from the Marlborough Town Board for such use. Thank you, Steve Lewinskin, President. Lewinskin. All right, my favorite thing with last names. Why can't I have New Corcoran's last name? Anyway, anybody want to make a motion to waive the fees for the Marlborough Milton Lions Club?
I'll make that motion. Waive the fees to Marlborough Milton Lions Club.
I'll second that motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. They're all set, Danielle.
All right, thank you.
Any public comments? Anybody? Anybody? Oh, boy, there they come. Come on up, come on up.
Go first. All right. So I think, can I just stand here?
You gotta come up to the mic, because we gotta get you on,
So for the, yeah, you're right.
we gotta get you on camera.
Yeah. I'm not too fixed up, but, so I just wanted to thank the town board for continuing to support the brick fundraiser, putting it on the website. The project, as Gail knows, is coming along. So anyhow, it's slow. We have room for 1,000 bricks. We probably sold less than 100. So if you're interested, please continue. And so that was about the bricks. And then the second thing is just a question and asking for some direction, or perhaps you've thought of it, is my husband now is really into pickleball. And we have 3 courts, you know, at the high school. And I was wondering if any thought has been given to that, and
Well, it's funny that you mentioned that.
Oh, it's coming up.
Linda Coupart actually reached out to me also about pickleball. I didn't know what pickleball was. And
I do.
so pickleball is kind of like a tennis, but it's like a paddle almost?
Yeah, so my son is in phys ed, and what he explained was some years ago in inner city school that didn't have the money for tennis, that the coach put together this game, and he taped out on the tennis court, it's a smaller court, and it has paddles with like those balls with holes in them. Yeah, and so it's much smaller, and it's really, for older players, it's much less moving around and so on and so on. So that's, and it is as he told me on Sunday, the fastest growing sport in America
When I looked it up,
today.
it said it's the fastest growing sport in America going on right now.
It almost sounds like a combination or a hybrid of tennis and ping pong.
That's exactly
It's
what I
similar.
just said to
That's
him.
a good, and it has a net across, yeah, that's a good analogy.
That's funny, is exactly what you said. So yeah, I know about it. We're looking into it. I mean, I haven't even asked, but I almost 100% know the school probably wouldn't want us to mark up their nice shiny tennis courts, but we are looking at by the basketball court at the town park, and I had Gary Lazaroff go up there and measure out what we could possibly put in there. He thinks we could put in 4 of them. It's really not that expensive. I mean, it's just blacktop, paint, and then eventually probably fences, right? You got to put some kind of fence.
Well,
up.
some seating, yeah.
And then that. So, yes, it's on
All right.
our radar.
All right,
So-
well, if you need help, let me know.
Yep.
I'll task that to him.
And
That's
on the
all.
bricks, just so everybody knows, you know, your discount time to buy a brick ends the end of this
It's
month.
coming up, yes,
So-
June 30th. Then it'll go
I
up.
actually got mine last week because I was thinking about it finally again.
I
and
did
said,
too. I did
Let me
too.
get my bricks. So
I did
I'm
too.
like, oh boy, I got to get the discount. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, why not?
So no, yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, forgot it. I think I gotta do this. I gotta.
I just had a question as you were discussing the needs for change in the speed limits, et cetera, in the town. I don't know if it would help your cause any if you had a number of signatures when you speak to this representative this week. I know when I saw on Facebook, a lot of people wanted to sign petitions, and if you needed something
I
to
was
show
thinking
public
that, I was
support.
hoping actually that, I thought they were coming tonight, so I was assuming they were coming, and I know they were talking about a petition from what I heard, and I'm totally open to that. I mean, let me have the conversation in person with them and see how they are receptive to what we're asking. I mean, she seemed very receptive on the phone, both of them.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Just understand, we could have a petition with a billion names on it, and the town board could absolutely want to take action, and the petition push them to do that. But if the state says no, the state says no. We really wanted certain things when we did that study.
yeah, there's a lot of turn lanes that should be put into.
I know, and that was it. There was no discussion.
I know.
So
It's DOT
people have to understand the process.
Yeah.
It may not be the board that says no, even though they have that petition. And as
And-
long as they understand the process,
Right.
we
Right.
can try and.
It's just that, I mean, from my time on the board, I totally understand that. The DOT has their own rules, their own budget timeline.
Yep.
And for all we know, this might have been in the time, these changes might be in the timeline for 10 years from now, for all we know. Or they might have just
They
said.
could come down tomorrow and do it and not even notify us. That's
Yeah.
how it works.
Just
Yeah.
like they did the one over.
But I mean, you know, while we have them come over here, I'm also gonna have them go down the rest of the corridor with me about some turning lanes that I think really should be put in. I'm definitely gonna bring them over to Tom back and ask them about a turning lane there. Because that definitely is gonna probably need one, because in my opinion, that could be the next spot that we start to see issues if and when this community center is complete. And it's always been my worry. But, you know, it's moving forward and we have to address it. But, you know, we have to have willing partners,
Right.
right? We know what we want and what we think we need because we lived here our whole lives, right? So we know where the hot spot. I mean, I turn into Old Indian Road and Chestnut Lane every day, and I'm always looking in my mirror the whole time because I'm afraid someone's going to nail me.
Yeah.
But, you know, knock
Which-
on wood, it's
yeah.
never happened. And every time I hear something, I pray to God it ain't my kids, and I hate to say it that way, but, you know, it's a
You're
very
a dad.
bad spot.
Absolutely.
And there's no reason for it because there's room to put it in.
Right.
Same thing with
So-
Conway Road too. That's not our district, but that's a terrible one.
So, well, I mean, we're taking, like I said, we're taking this very seriously. We've always taken it seriously. I just think, you know, it can't hurt to have a petition, right?
Right. Well, and then that also brings me to my second comment that I wanted to make. Coming up to the town park, to Cluachance Park, they have the arrows that you have to go to the right lane. And if you are not familiar with this town and you go to the right, but you know you need to make a left, it's very, very confusing. And my suggestion, even when they were doing that traffic study, was to make that be a left lane turn arrows with
Should've been.
signage that says park ahead, left turn, park ahead, or however they word it. I was told that if there's any state grant money that went into the town park, then that kind of, it gives the state, I think it gives the state a mandate to be able to put signs that say park ahead. So that shouldn't even, if that is actual regulation.
Well, here's the whole study. I mean,
Yeah.
all this stuff's in here. Everything that you're talking about is in here.
Yeah, I mean, it just makes more sense. You want to be steering people into the park, not away from the park. And that left turn lane should extend into Milton Hardware, and then the arrows should go to merge right. That's, so since you've got somebody talking to you, I
I
mean,
mean, it's,
It's the same way
uh,
when you're going south and then you have to go over to the left. You're jumping in the left
see,
lane.
like, this is
right
how,
before.
that's how Old Indian should look right there on the screen. See how that is?
yeah,
That's how it should look. They have the space to do it. Why did they
Site
do it?
distance parameters,
yeah,
length of that lane, I believe, Councilman Mullen's referred to, that move left, going southbound on is so long because of the parameters required by it. It is silly that you don't go to the left to make a right off the Lions Lane, but I think because of the distance that they required for those cars, and I think that's why the town park's the same way. DOT can speak to that, but that's just based on what I know of.
yeah,
They have certain parameters they have to follow based on engineering studies or whatever it is they figured out.
Right.
That's why site distance becomes a problem, issues when people want to put driveways in, when we want to, you know, a lot of places they'll, like my concern about New Road, DOT may feel there's an action for that, but their action might be, well, there's no more left turns into that road. And then that becomes an enforcement nightmare.
Well, the thing about
Much
the,
like they decided to do with Dunkin' Donuts.
yeah,
They wouldn't do the turn lane, so they argued.
and now we have an enforcement
And the
issue.
state finally said, okay, no left turns.
Right there.
They can do that.
That's their solution.
That's my fear.
Look, the thing about also saying we're asking to reduce the speed, look, we can't
Yeah.
physically stop people from driving 55 and a 40. People are gonna do it, but then it at least gives us a mechanism for the officer to do something.
Right.
Right? If they're going through here 55 now, there's nothing they can do,
Can't do anything.
right? Because it is 55, right? But if you make it 40 or 45 and they're going 55, they have a mechanism now to say, I can pull you over and stop you, right? Or at least try to do something.
If the speed limit's 55, they go 60. yeah.
So,
Well,
anyway.
I wish you
mean,
lots of good luck with them tomorrow, and our condolences to the family there. I hope
Yeah.
the little boy is okay. Thank you.
It's horrible. Now, what's going on over here? What is this thing? I don't know what it's.
So
Your
that-
weather panel.
That's the roundabout. I'm gonna put the roundabout.
This is what, I just was gonna show you, this is what they wanna put up.
Yeah.
This is what they recommended to put right here at Stewart's.
Roundabout.
I don't know if that would've worked, but that's what they wanted to do to stop the traffic, so,
They do that out with the range.
yeah.
Yeah, there's a ton of them
If
there.
you're in that range of the trailer, you can't make it.
Yeah, I don't know, that's a
That's
toughie.
what my car trailer, could you imagine an 18-wheeler?
So the problem also is, and people don't understand this, when you're, and I'm not pointing a finger directly at this, but the engineers like to plot things on maps, okay? And they have a schematic they go by, and on paper it looks great. And then when you get to the physical location, they all look at each other after spending a year and a half on this study, and they go, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah,
I've been there several times with our own town. We did a traffic study several times in this town.
Right here.
They were gonna reorganize the village of Marlborough and put a piazza. I used to be on the EDC, I sat at all these meetings, and I would come into these meetings and listen to all the experts speak, and then I would put a little practicality into it and say, have you guys even, to the engineer, have you even physically went to the center of town? Oh, but we have the guide right here, it tells us what we can do. We had a meeting, and that gentleman came and he looked at the blueprint for 10 minutes and looked up at the flagpole and looked up the street and looked down the street, walked over to Frankie's Deli after we paid him, God knows how much money, and he said, this is not gonna work. So
that's why you gotta have people.
some
come
of
in
the other
person.
things that I've been sitting in on meetings with the DOT, they do not want anything to slow the flow of traffic. Case closed.
Yep,
Good point, getting into the left lane, the right lane, whatever it may be. Again, on paper, it looks great. Drive that 2 or 3 times and you think to yourself, who the hell is running things? But once it's done, it's done.
Yep.
And it's a nightmare right now, but even to change that lanes back to what they used to be, you'll never see it. You'll never see it in our lifetime.
well, we'll see. I mean, you know, the original recommendation here in this report was 9W, all the 4 lanes would go back to 1 lane.
And put a bike lane in.
Put bike lanes and turn
Which is
lanes.
ridiculous.
I don't know about a bike lane going there.
No, they
That's-
wanted to put a
that's even
bike
worse,
lane
but
in.
That's what they
Yeah,
wanted
it
to
was.
put.
It was a bike
But
lane.
yeah, I mean, there was a lot of recommendation, but some of the stuff was, I thought,
I
common
want to talk
sense
about
stuff.
accidents. That would have been great.
They did do this, though. They did move the crosswalk. All right, so resolution, we're back. So thanks to Councilwoman Sessa, we got it right. We did go back to our IT team, and we asked them about these specs from D-Ben and the cameras that they were using, and they did put in their price with the correct cameras, which then we realized as an IT team that we were missing 1 camera, and in his original bid, it was $500 more for the 32-bit
32
channel NVR, and so, and everybody else had 32 channel NVR, so he did it exactly the same to make it right. So these were the numbers that came back, and so these are the numbers for the security system at the community center.
Just a note, not that they were the wrong cameras.
No.
They were just.
On a list that they weren't
on the
usable.
list from the federal government, which
Right.
we thought we should apply.
Right. Yeah, technically, we as a town could use it. It's a federal thing, but most towns will abide by what the federal government is saying, because these cameras were being made by a Chinese company, and it's the same thing. They think that they could spy on you and take information, just like TikTok does to you. So stay off TikTok. But yes, thank you for doing it.
No
So,
problem.
so Resolution 68, to accept an estimate for the security camera system at the community center. Supervisor Corcoran proposes the following, whereas the IT committee as well as the town engineer, town supervisor are part of a walkthrough with the security camera contractor, and whereas design specs were told to the potential contractor, and whereas the following estimates were received: D-band security, $12,142.72, precision security, $14,010.78, A&R security, $24,495, and whereas it is recommended from the IT committee, the town engineer to accept security systems estimate from D-band security. Be resolved, the town board of the town of Marlborough accepts the estimate from D-band security and moves for its adoption.
Yes.
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 Yes, thank you. Resolution 69, to accept estimate for payment of the pavilion clue at Shands Park. So I think you guys know, like in our quarterly first meeting, I mentioned that this has to be done. It's really, really bad. So Charlie, God bless him, and actually Jen, reached out to a whole bunch of contractors to get us estimates, and some of them were really high and some of them were reasonable, but they're still kind of high, but it is a big pavilion.
How
so.
often does it get painted?
Last time we did this was, what, 7 years ago?
About 6, 7 years ago.
So when we redid the whole pavilion, so, but it's peeling like,
Yeah,
It
it's
has to be
bad.
scraped
Really?
out.
It does
bad.
look bad, I know.
the reason that the estimates are a little higher is because they have to get all the old paint off first, and then prime it and then paint it and stuff. So it is it's bigger than you think when you go in there. I think, I thought we could just hire some kids and paint it, but
And also, there's different paint.
Some kind of, like, warranty, like. if it
yeah,
peels
he
off,
gives a
3
warranty.
months.
This guy's pretty good. I told him, I said, the last guy, I don't think put the right primer or any primer, because when you see it peeling off, I don't even see primer.
I don't either.
So they're gonna come in and they scrape it, they power wash it with the high power washer, get it all down, and then they're gonna spray, they're actually gonna spray the whole thing, like even the under roof, so it's all the same color this time. And then, of course, the rails. But we're trying to get it done before camp starts and all that, because then it's almost impossible to do. So, and again, this money will come out of our park funds. That's why they're there. So whereas the town of Marlborough Town Board wishes to paint the pavilion at Cluett Shands Park, and whereas the following estimates were received: CertaPro Painters, $13,227.96, K&M Painters, $16,000, and Lisanti Painting LLC, $29,450. Be it resolved, the town board of the town of Marlborough accepts the estimate of CertaPro Painters and moves for its adoption.
Councilman Molinelli?
Yes.
Councilwoman Sessa?
Yes.
Councilman Zambito?
Yes.
Supervisor Corcoran?
Yes, thank you. We'll get them on that right away. Hopefully they could get it in right away like they said. And Eddie, I'll leave it to you.
And that's 7:35. I move to adjourn.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.